For years, car dealers have been taking truck buyers for a ride. Markups, hidden fees, overpriced loans, you name it. But what if I told you the tables have finally turned? Dealerships are drowning in unsold trucks, buyers are walking away, and now they're paying the price for their greed. In this video, we're exposing the shocking truth behind the truck market crash, how dealerships manipulated buyers, and most importantly, how you can use this collapse to your advantage. And here's the kicker. Wait just a little longer, and you could score the deal of a lifetime as dealerships hit their breaking point. Stick with me to the end, because if you're thinking about buying a truck, this could save you thousands. What's happening? The average price of a new truck has skyrocketed to over $64,000, a record high that has left many buyers unable to afford what was once considered an essential vehicle for work and daily life. Monthly payments for these trucks often exceed $1,000, pushing them out of reach for the average American. What was once a symbol of reliability and practicality has now become a financial burden, forcing potential buyers to reconsider their options. Several factors contributed to this massive price surge. Supply chain disruptions caused by the global pandemic led to material shortages, making it more expensive to manufacture vehicles. Rising costs of raw materials, such as steel and aluminum, further drove up production expenses. However, the most significant factor behind the price explosion wasn't just inflation or limited supply. It was how automakers and dealerships responded to the situation. Instead of adjusting prices to accommodate struggling consumers, they took advantage of the chaos, prioritizing profit over affordability. While production costs did increase, many manufacturers intentionally limited supply to maintain high prices. Dealerships, in turn, capitalized on this strategy by inflating prices even further through aggressive markups and unnecessary add-ons. The result was an industry-wide shift where trucks were no longer priced based on their actual value, but rather on what dealerships believed consumers could be pressured into paying. This shift has led to widespread frustration among buyers, who now find themselves trapped in a market where affordability is no longer a priority. But price inflation alone didn't cause the collapse. The way dealerships handled it made things much worse. Pandemic price gouging and dealer greed. When the pandemic disrupted vehicle production, dealerships quickly recognized an opportunity. With supply chain bottlenecks limiting the number of trucks, dealers took advantage of desperate buyers by dramatically increasing prices. Popular models like the Ford F-150, Toyota Tacoma, and Chevrolet Silverado saw price markups ranging from $10,000 to $20,000 above their original sticker price. Buyers who needed a new truck had little choice but to accept these inflated costs or walk away entirely. It wasn't just the markups that hurt consumers. Many dealerships refused to sell trucks without adding expensive, mandatory features that further increased the price. Custom wheels, extended warranties, dealership-installed accessories, and unnecessary service packages were forced onto buyers, making an already expensive purchase even more costly. Some dealerships outright refused to negotiate, creating a take-it-or-leave-it environment that left many feeling trapped. For those who decided to wait, things only got worse. Dealers continuously assured customers that prices would never go back down, urging them to buy before costs climbed even higher. This fear-based sales tactic pushed many hesitant buyers into making rushed decisions, only to find themselves regretting their purchase as prices started dropping once demand cooled. The greed didn't stop there. As inventory levels remained low, some dealerships even removed advertised discounts, knowing that desperate buyers would still be willing to pay full price. In the worst cases, dealers added false market adjustment fees, claiming that these additional costs were necessary due to high demand. But the reality was that many dealerships were simply taking advantage of the situation to maximize their profits at the expense of consumers. But now the tables have turned. Buyers are striking back. Consumers are fighting back. After years of being overcharged and manipulated, consumers are finally pushing back against dealership greed. More buyers are choosing to walk away from inflated prices, refusing to play into the hands of dealerships that have taken advantage of them for far too long. The once booming truck market is now experiencing a dramatic slowdown, with sales plummeting as potential buyers reject unfair pricing. With fewer people willing to overpay, dealership lots are now filling up with unsold inventory. Trucks that were once impossible to find are now sitting untouched for months, forcing dealerships to rethink their strategy. Many of these dealers are struggling to move their stock, especially as interest rates remain high and loan terms become less favorable. This sudden shift in consumer behavior has placed dealerships in a difficult position. They either lower prices to attract buyers or risk being stuck with unsold vehicles. As new truck sales continue to decline, many buyers are shifting their attention to the used market. While used trucks were also overpriced during the peak of the pandemic, prices have started to correct as more inventory becomes available. Savvy buyers are now finding better deals on pre-owned trucks, avoiding the high costs associated with new models. This trend has further reduced demand for new trucks, leaving dealerships with even fewer options for maintaining their profit margins. Another key factor in consumer resistance is increased awareness. Many buyers are now educating themselves on dealership tactics, learning how to identify hidden fees, avoid unnecessary add-ons, and negotiate better deals. Online forums, social media, and automotive websites have played a crucial role in spreading information about how to outsmart dealerships. This knowledge has empowered buyers, making it much harder for dealers to take advantage of uninformed customers. And that's where the financial disaster begins for truck owners who bought at the peak. The financial nightmare of truck loans. For those who bought their trucks during the price surge, the financial consequences are now becoming painfully clear. Over half of all new truck loans now exceed $1,000 per month, making them some of the most expensive vehicle loans on the market. Buyers who financed their trucks at the peak of pricing are now facing a harsh reality. Their vehicles are worth far less than what they owe. As truck prices begin to decline, many owners find themselves underwater on their loans, meaning they owe more on their trucks than the vehicles are currently worth. This is especially problematic for those who were pushed into long-term financing options, such as 7-year or even 8-year loans. While these extended terms initially made monthly payments seem more manageable, they have trapped buyers in high-interest contracts that will cost them thousands more in the long run. The situation has worsened as repossessions have surged. With inflation affecting the cost of living and interest rates climbing, many truck owners simply cannot keep up with their payments. Repossessions have jumped by 23% in the last year alone, creating a ripple effect throughout the industry. As more trucks are repossessed and returned to the market, dealerships are being forced to lower prices to compete with the growing supply of used inventory. This increase in repossessions is causing problems for dealerships as well. Lenders are becoming more cautious, tightening their lending requirements and making it harder for potential buyers to secure financing. Fewer approved loans mean even fewer truck sales, further exacerbating the crisis for dealerships struggling to stay afloat. As more trucks are repossessed and resold, dealerships are scrambling to adjust, leading to an industry-wide panic. The truck lot overflow, unsold inventory, skyrockets. Across the country, dealership lots are overflowing with unsold trucks. What was once a seller's market where buyers had to compete for available inventory has completely flipped. Rows of brand new Toyota Tacomas, Ford F-150s, and Chevrolet Silverados are sitting untouched, collecting dust. In some regions, dealers are parking excess inventory in overflow lots just to make space for new shipments. But the problem is that many of these trucks are no longer moving, creating a backlog that no one knows how to clear. This situation has left dealerships in a precarious position. For years, they took advantage of supply chain shortages and jacked up prices to historic highs. But now that demand has dried up. Many dealers are finding it impossible to move their inventory, even with steep discounts. Some are refusing new shipments altogether, worried that adding more trucks to the lot will only make matters worse. This is particularly shocking for models that once flew off the shelves. Just a few years ago, seeing an unsold Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro or Ford F-150 Raptor sitting for months would have been unthinkable. Dealerships now face a dilemma. Do they slash prices even further and take massive losses, or do they hold out and hope demand rebounds? The longer these trucks sit, the more money dealerships lose in carrying costs, interest payments, and insurance. Manufacturers, meanwhile, are also feeling the pressure, as their own profits depend on dealerships clearing out old inventory to make room for new models. But it is not just traditional gas-powered trucks piling up. Electric trucks are facing an even bigger crisis: the electric truck disaster. When automakers first announced the next generation of electric pickup trucks, they were supposed to revolutionize the industry. Companies like Ford, General Motors, and Rivian poured billions into developing electric trucks, expecting a surge in demand. The Ford F-150 Lightning, GMC Hummer EV, and Chevrolet Silverado EV were hailed as game changers, with promises of massive torque, zero emissions, and cutting-edge technology. But fast forward to today, and these trucks are sitting unsold for months, even as dealerships slash prices by tens of thousands of dollars. The problem is that buyers simply are not interested. Despite early hype, electric trucks have been plagued by three major issues: high prices, poor charging infrastructure, and concerns over battery reliability. Unlike gas-powered trucks, which can be refueled in minutes at any gas station, electric trucks require lengthy charging times and access to specialized fast charging stations, which are still sparse in many areas. For truck buyers, many of whom use their vehicles for work, towing, or long-distance driving, these limitations are a deal breaker. Then there is the cost. Even after price reductions, electric trucks remain significantly more expensive than their gas-powered counterparts. Buyers who expected EVs to become more affordable over time have been disappointed to see that, in many cases, the total cost of ownership, including insurance, battery replacements, and charging infrastructure, is still far too high. With incentives and tax credits failing to bridge the gap, many would-be buyers are simply sticking with traditional gas or hybrid trucks. Another growing concern is battery degradation. As more electric vehicles hit the road, buyers are becoming aware of the long-term costs associated with battery replacements. Unlike a gas engine, which can last decades with proper maintenance, an electric truck's battery gradually loses efficiency and can cost upwards of $20,000 to replace. Stories of Tesla and Rivian owners facing unexpected battery failures have only fueled skepticism about EV longevity. As a result, the electric truck market is in freefall. Dealerships are left with hundreds of unsold units. Manufacturers are being forced to scale back production, and even government incentives are not enough to convince buyers. And even with these price slashes, buyers are losing trust in the industry. The collapse of trust in truck brands. It is not just high prices and market conditions turning buyers away. Trust in automakers is at an all-time low. For years, brands like Toyota, Ford, and General Motors built their reputations on reliability, performance, and durability. But today's truck buyers are feeling betrayed. Many believe that automakers have prioritized profits over quality, cutting corners in areas that used to be non-negotiable for truck owners. One of the biggest points of frustration is the shift from naturally aspirated V6 and V8 engines to turbocharged four-cylinder and hybrid powertrains. While these newer engines promise better fuel economy, they introduce more complexity, higher repair costs, and questionable long-term reliability. Many traditional truck buyers have no interest in turbocharged engines, which rely on forced induction and high-strain components that wear out faster than traditional powertrains. Beyond engines, customers are also dissatisfied with the build quality of new trucks. Materials that once felt rugged and durable have been replaced with cheap plastic interiors, thin metal panels, and electronic features prone to failure. The days of the simple, hard-wearing work truck seem to be disappearing, replaced by luxury-focused models that cost more but deliver less in long-term reliability. This dissatisfaction has led to widespread backlash, particularly among brand-loyal truck buyers. Toyota, Ford, and General Motors are all facing criticism for overpriced, overcomplicated trucks that lack the toughness buyers expect. Truck owners are now more skeptical than ever, questioning whether paying a premium for a new vehicle is even worth it anymore. With buyers losing confidence in automakers, truck manufacturers are now at a crossroads. If they want to win back their customers, they may have no choice but to rethink their approach to building trucks altogether. With buyers walking away, dealerships must survive the current crisis. The dirty sales tactics dealerships are using. With demand for new trucks plummeting, dealerships are resorting to desperate measures to lure in buyers. The days of easy markups and inflated prices are gone, forcing sales teams to get more creative and often more deceptive about how they move inventory. One of the most common tricks is the illusion of a discount. Many dealerships are advertising massive price cuts, slashing $10,000 to $20,000 off the sticker price. But what they are not telling you is that these trucks were originally marked up far beyond their actual value. A truck that was artificially inflated to $80,000, for example, is now being discounted to $65,000, which is still significantly more than it should cost. Hidden fees are another way dealerships are squeezing extra cash out of buyers. These can include documentation fees, mandatory dealer add-ons, and even service packages that buyers never asked for. Some dealerships are rolling these charges into the financing agreements, making it difficult for buyers to notice until it is too late. Inflated interest rates are also a growing concern. Even when banks approve buyers for a lower rate, Some dealerships adjust the final terms, adding an extra percentage point or two to increase their profit. Over the life of a loan, this small difference can add thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest payments. Another deceptive practice is the bait and switch strategy. Buyers are drawn in by online listings advertising deeply discounted trucks, only to arrive at the dealership and be told that the vehicle was just sold. Salespeople then push a similar but more expensive model, claiming it is the best available deal. Some dealerships even advertise trucks that they never had in stock, just to get buyers in the door. To make matters worse, some dealerships are preying on buyers with poor credit, convincing them that their only option is a high-interest, long-term loan. These loans can stretch payments out over 84 or even 96 months, making the truck seem more affordable while adding tens of thousands in interest. Many of these buyers will end up upside down on their loans, owing far more than their truck is worth. As dealerships run out of ways to manipulate the market, many are facing an even bigger crisis: survival. If the dealership model continues to crumble, the effects will be widespread. Thousands of jobs could disappear as dealerships close, and automakers may be forced to rethink their entire distribution strategy. The next decade could bring a complete overhaul of how trucks are bought and sold, leaving traditional dealerships struggling to stay relevant. If that happens, buyers could see massive price drops soon, the biggest truck price drops in years. The truck market is on the verge of a major price correction. With dealerships overloaded with unsold inventory and consumers refusing to overpay, prices are beginning to fall at a pace not seen in years. Some trucks, particularly full-size pickups, are now seeing discounts of $10,000 to $20,000 as dealerships attempt to clear their lots. Manufacturers are also stepping in with incentives to stimulate demand. Interest rate buydowns, rebates, and extended warranties are being offered to entice reluctant buyers. Some automakers are even considering cutting production to artificially limit supply and prevent prices from dropping further. The longer a truck sits unsold, the bigger the markdown. Certain models, especially those with less popular trims or configurations, are being discounted heavily to make room for new inventory. Electric trucks, which have struggled with demand, are seeing some of the steepest price drops. The Ford F-150 Lightning, for example, is being offered with discounts exceeding $15,000 in some regions, a drastic shift from just a year ago when markups were common. Fleet buyers and commercial customers are also seeing better deals, as manufacturers prioritize bulk sales to move inventory. Some dealerships are even offering deep cuts on used trucks, as a wave of repossessed vehicles hits the market. If this trend continues, we could see a major reset in truck pricing. Manufacturers may be forced to permanently lower prices to stay competitive, shifting away from the luxury truck pricing model that has dominated the past decade. But even with these discounts, buyers still need to be cautious. How to avoid getting ripped off on a new truck? Even as prices fall, buyers still need to be on high alert. Dealerships will continue looking for ways to squeeze as much money out of each transaction as possible, using tactics that are less obvious than direct markups. One of the biggest mistakes buyers make is focusing only on the monthly payment, rather than the total cost of the truck. A dealership might offer a lower monthly payment, but stretch the loan term out to 7 or 8 years, adding tens of thousands of dollars in interest. It is essential to negotiate the total price of the truck first, before discussing financing. Another trick is adding unnecessary fees and services. Things like fabric protection, nitrogen-filled tires, and extended warranties are often pitched as must-have extras, but they are rarely worth the inflated costs. Buyers should scrutinize the final price breakdown and refuse any add-ons that do not provide real value. For those trading in a vehicle, it is important to know its actual value before heading to the dealership. Some dealerships will offer a lower trade-in price, while quietly increasing the price of the new truck. Checking trade-in values online through services like Kelley Blue Book can help ensure a fair offer. Timing is also key. As dealerships become more desperate to move inventory, buyers can use this to their advantage. Shopping toward the end of the month, quarter, or year often results in better deals, as salespeople try to hit their quotas. Similarly, waiting for incentives and rebates can save thousands. Walking away is often the most powerful negotiation tool. If a dealership refuses to lower the price or remove unnecessary fees, being willing to leave can prompt them to offer a better deal. Many buyers find that simply waiting a few days leads to follow-up calls with improved offers. For those willing to be patient, the next few months could present some of the best opportunities in years to buy a truck at a reasonable price. The key is knowing how to navigate the dealership's tricks and not falling for sales tactics designed to extract more money than necessary. But while truck prices fall, the American auto industry is struggling to recover. Can American automakers recover? American automakers are facing one of the biggest crises in recent history. As buyers reject overpriced trucks, major brands like Ford, General Motors, and Ram are watching their profits shrink. Factories that once operated at full capacity are now slowing production, and the ripple effects of this downturn are being felt across the entire automotive supply chain. Layoffs are already beginning, with some industry analysts predicting that tens of thousands of workers could lose their jobs in the coming years if sales do not rebound. Auto plants that relied on strong truck sales to justify expansion now face the possibility of shutdowns or extended production pauses. The fallout from this crisis could be massive, affecting not just the automakers themselves, but also the countless suppliers, dealerships, and service providers that depend on the truck industry. One of the biggest challenges for American automakers is regaining consumer trust. For years, they have pushed aggressive pricing, hidden fees, and long-term loans that left many buyers in financial distress. The current market downturn is, in many ways, a direct result of that approach. Buyers are no longer willing to overpay for trucks with excessive markups, unnecessary luxury features, and complex hybrid or turbocharged engines that lack the long-term reliability of their predecessors. Some automakers are already making changes to adjust to this new reality. Ford has begun offering more aggressive discounts on its F-Series lineup, while General Motors has introduced new rebates to entice hesitant buyers. However, these price cuts may not be enough to fully reverse the damage done by years of price inflation. The long-term survival of American automakers depends on their ability to shift their strategy. Will they return to the days of affordable, work-focused trucks, or will they continue pushing high-tech, high-priced models that fewer and fewer consumers can afford? If they fail to adapt, they could face a much larger problem, losing their dominance in the truck market to foreign competitors. And if American automakers fail, foreign brands could take over the truck market. Could foreign brands dominate the truck industry? Toyota, in particular, has been making significant moves in the truck market. While the latest generation of the Toyota Tundra faced backlash for switching to a turbocharged V6, the brand still benefits from a reputation for durability and reliability. The mid-sized Toyota Tacoma remains one of the best-selling trucks in the United States, and Toyota's hybrid technology could give it an edge as fuel efficiency becomes a bigger concern for truck buyers. Meanwhile, Hyundai and Kia have been developing smaller, more affordable trucks designed to appeal to budget-conscious buyers. The Hyundai Santa Cruz has already found success as a compact alternative to full-size pickups, and the company is rumored to be working on a larger truck that could compete directly with American brands. One of the biggest advantages foreign automakers have is their focus on value and efficiency. While American manufacturers have spent the last decade loading trucks with high-end features, foreign brands have prioritized reliability, affordability, and fuel economy. As consumers shift their priorities, this could give companies like Toyota, Nissan, and Hyundai a serious competitive advantage. If Ford, General Motors, and Ram fail to address their pricing and quality issues, they could lose their long-standing dominance in the truck market. This would mark a major turning point in American automotive history, with foreign brands taking a larger share of what was once an exclusively American stronghold. So what do you think? Will dealerships ever earn back buyers' trust, or is this the beginning of a new era in car buying? Let us know in the comments.